Greetings. In this video we are going to venture into the unknown hidden powers and the potency, the glories of Sri Rudram. So Sri Rudram is part of the Vedas. It occurs in the middle portion of the Yajur Veda, and the Panchakshari Namah Shivaya comes from this Sri Rudram. So it has 11 anuvakas or chapters in total, and usually Rudram recitation is followed by the recitation of Chamakam, which is another portion from Yajur Veda. Now we have to understand the genesis of Sri Rudram as it is part of the Vedas. So the Vedas were not composed by anyone. The entire existence, cosmos, is a reverberation, and reverberation means sound energy. So in ancient times, there were sages who, endued to great penance and tapas, awakened the non-mechanical parts, some centers in their brains, and enabled them to tap into this knowledge of Akasha, the cosmic archive. So they saw and they heard these truths in the form of sounds, which they perceived, and then they recited what they perceived, and that is how the Vedas came about. That is, to put things really brief. So the sage who downloaded Sri Rudram is the Rishi Agura, who was a Raja Rishi, a king turned Rishi, who was engaged in deep tapas for the welfare of his subjects. This was because he had a vision, a foreknowledge of things that were to come. He saw major portions of his kingdom which were struck by natural calamities, and he saw his subjects being tormented by suffering. They were dying, howling, crying, and there was misery. So he intensified his tapas, his penance, to get an answer, and that is how he was granted the Shruti, the sound, and the darshan, the vision of the mantras, the verses of the Vedas, which are now compiled as Rudram, which we recite as Rudram. And he was also instructed to spread this Rudram among his subjects, which he did, and they were saved from the calamities which he predicted. Rudram appears in the Taitiriya Shakha of the Krishna Yajur Veda. Now the potent of Rudram. Sri Rudram creates an immense density of spiritual energy. When I say immense, I really mean extremely immense. It is extremely powerful, such that it confers immense protection, pulverizes all forms of negativity, heightens one's consciousness greatly, and does immense purification. It has a direct effect on the 5 elements and all planes of existence. This is how aspirants use Rudram to actually alter weather according to their will. For example, there are many who actually use Sri Rudram to bring rain upon their will. From my experience with Sri Rudram, I can confidently say that it contains the energy of the Big Bang in a refined manner. The whole huge density of Big Bang condensed into a microchip which is assimilated by us is Sri Rudram. Now it is said that by reciting the Rudram, one gets purified instantly. Another verse actually declares a village or town resided by a devout reciter of Sri Rudram will be free from diseases, theft, and other illnesses, and the effects of bad weather. The Shiva Purana even states that by reciting the Sri Rudram, one gains both worldly pleasures and liberation. The sound Namaha is repeated more than 100 times in the Sri Rudram. Each utterance breaks the stubborn karma and root patterns in us and infuses us with the energy of Rudra. With this, we achieve completion and maintain the state of enlightenment with zero karmic balance. In fact, in the Kaivalya Upanishad of the Atharva Veda, it is revealed one who recites Rudram is purified and is relieved from the sins of killing a Brahmana, of consuming intoxicants, and the known and unknown sin. Experiment conducted 2 years back by Dr. Avinash Kulkarni from Prashanti Nilayam. He conducted an experiment by using a Sputnik antenna which measures the density of photoelectronic imaging. Now, he conducted this experiment when the Veda conference was held in Prashanti Nilayam, where more than 15,000 participants mass recited the Rudram. And he collected the data, and the research findings were astounding. He sent the reports to US, and they said that this is the highest energy ever witnessed by mankind. Not just that, from Dr. Avinash's research, we can conclude that the mass energy produced from Sri Rudram at a particular location spreads for a great distance, probably more than 10 kilometers. So the intensity recreated by Rudram travels miles after miles and confers goodness to everyone. The Chola king of the ancient Tamilakam used to conduct a Maharudra Yaga annually in the Brihadishvara temple of Tanjavur. Such was the reverence given by the ancient kings towards Rudram. Even today, Rudram is seen as the penultimate lesson in traditional Vedic schools. One has to brave the discipline in a traditional Vedic school for about 9 years before even reaching Rudram as a syllabus. Now, did you know that Lord Krishna's personal sadhana was to actually recite the Rudram daily? The Anushasana Parva is a portion from the Mahabharata. Here there is a scene which describes a conversation between Bhagavan Shri Krishna and King Yudhishthira. Lord Krishna reveals that he gets up early every morning to recite the Rudram as his daily sadhana. Lord Krishna even adds that one can attain anything through Rudram. Not just that, Lord Rama belonged to the Veda Shakha which contains Rudram. So Rudram was the Nitya Karma for Lord Rama too. In Kurma Purana, we have a portion called the Ishvara Gita. This speaks about the revelation of Lord Shiva himself. In the 7th chapter, Lord Shiva himself declares that among the Vedas, he is the Sama Veda, and among the Yajur Veda, he is Rudram. In the same Kurma Purana, Lord Shiva instructs King Vasumanas to actually recite Rudram to attain Mukti. In the Padma Purana of the Patala Khanda, we find a portion which describes how sage Durvasa energized Vibhuti with Sri Rudram to nullify the sins of the Devas. You might have heard about Bhandasura, who was a powerful Asura who obtained control over all the worlds, by pleasing Lord Shiva through Rudram. In fact, the manifestation of Lalita Devi happened to kill Bhandasura. This is mentioned in the Brahmanda Purana, the Uttara Bhaga of the Lalitopakhyanam. You can find the reference which states that Bhandasura gained those powers over the cosmos itself by the recitation of Rudram. Now, I have personally witnessed the lives of many transform beyond imagination. Why, even my own life had met great transformation through Sri Rudram. Gargantuan doshas and heavy karmic influences can be pounded to dust just through Rudram. The mantric force of Rudram is so powerful that it instantly activates all chakras in one's subtle body. It also awakens the Sahasrara chakra. The revered Shaivite saints are known as the Nayanars. They adhere to the Sri Rudram too. One particular saint even had his name prefixed with Rudra. Pashupati's sole sadhana was to actually dip himself neck deep in a lotus pond and to recite the Sri Rudram with full vigor. Lord Shiva manifested his form and gave him enlightenment. Today, this saint is known as Rudra Pashupati Nayanar because his reference towards Sri Rudram. The meaning of Rudram, the essence of Rudram, if we look at its meaning at its highest level, is about recognizing and realizing that absolute consciousness as Rudra is in everyone and everything. This is why they say you are actually Rudra, reciting Rudra, which glorifies the entire universe as Rudra. It ultimately makes you realize yourself as Rudra in parallel to the declaration that you are consciousness or you are God, as dictated by the Vedas and Upanishads. So, the ultimate effect of Rudram is enlightenment itself. Now, using Rudram as a Yaga is considered to be the highest form of worship for Lord Shiva. 11 recitations of Rudram followed by 1 recitation of Chamakam is called the Ekadasha Rudram. This constitutes 1 unit of Rudra Yaga. 11 rounds of Ekadasha Rudram makes 1 Laghu Rudram, and 11 Laghu Rudra recitation makes 1 Maha Rudram, and 11 Maha Rudram recitation is the Ati Rudram, and Ati Rudram is the highest form of worship for Lord Shiva. And it is so powerful that conducting such a yaga actually confers blessings to the entire cosmos. The vibrations produced from such a yaga travels throughout the cosmos and purifies everything in the cosmos. Now, Rudram can be used as a tool for immense service for those who are selfless, for those who work as a light being. This is what our ancient sages actually did. They used to retreat to forests and they recited the powerful Vedas. And by this, the vibration spread throughout the planet and purified everything. Purified the harmful electromagnetic waves in the air, the harmful vibrations in the air, the pollutions of the elements, and so forth. And by reciting something as powerful as the Rudram, one can do immense benefit to the world. The elements, the water, and the very air we breathe today is polluted. Rudram chanting can rectify the damage humanity has done to these entities. So learn Rudram and change your life today. For help in learning, contact the WhatsApp number given in the descriptions below and take a look at the links given in the descriptions as well. For example, a detailed video on the experiment conducted by Dr. Avinash and a feat of using Sri Rudram to bring rain upon will. So such interesting links are in the descriptions as well. Don't forget to